Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for joining us on this lovely, it is a Tuesday, the 18th of August 2020. Welcome to the first show for those of you that have just joined us live on Facebook and those that are coming live from your sitting rooms and nabo abakatuka ku mirimo jabe. Well, it is yet another day, and just like we did promise you yesterday that we'll be coming back and take you through for yet another edition of the first show. My name is Simon Chris Makanga. Well, we are going to be talking about quite a number of stories that made rounds of headlines yesterday. COVID-19 is real, and now it's coming closer to us journalists, so there's need to worry, and there's a lot to talk about the youth elections that happened yesterday, controversies that happened yesterday. We shall be talking about them later in the show. Well, I'm not doing this show alone either. I'm always with...
Well, a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Latifa Hamid. For those who went through successfully during the youth elections that happened yesterday, we say congratulations, and we hope that you will serve the youth diligently. And those who did not go through, please do not make this a chaos thing and go crazy about what is happening. There's always 2025 where you will be able to compete. So be calm. And let's see that these elections go without violence. Without saying there was violence in the youth elections that happened yesterday, that me and Chris will be diving into a few minutes to come. Now, Uganda has so far registered 1,500 cases of COVID-19 and counting. And that means that Kampala, being the hotspot of COVID-19 in the country, gives a question of what we are doing to take care of ourselves. Again, don't forget to put on your face masks. Don't forget to wash your hands with soap and water. Move with your sanitizer in your bag all the time and take care of yourself. Someone, Chris Makanga, good morning.
Good morning, Tifa.
How are you doing today?
Well, I'm not doing bad. I'm doing great. And thanks for asking.
Oh, definitely.
And
why
yourself?
Wouldn't I ask? Oh, I'm doing wonderfully well. Yesterday, again, I woke up to the discussion of the youth elections. And literally that has been in my mind till now. I'm just from having a conversation with Matanda Bakar. He was a guest on this show, and we were discussing with him the future of youth politics in the country. And aside from the future of youth politics, I'd like to congratulate him. He actually made it through as the youth chairman, and that's on national level, and I'd like to congratulate him for that particular position. Now, Simon, Chris, I want to dive straight into our headlines of the day, starting with a little bit of youth elections and then COVID-19, because now we're going to discuss the youth elections in depth later on in our topic of discussion, and we'll have a guest or two to interact about the youth elections and the future of politics when in regards to youth. Now, the one thing we'll note, Simon, Chris, is the fact that the youth that we have are not only vying for positions in the youth elections and youth campaigns, but they're also vying for positions in a few other things, including members of parliament and a few other bigger positions. So we'll be looking at them in the studios, giving us their perspective and telling us why, instead of being in the youth elections, they decided to go for members of parliament, which is a bigger position and a bigger fight and a bigger stake for them. But now, looking at the COVID-19 cases in the country, now New Vision finally got a case that was registered. Two cases that were registered. Now, this person or these people were supposed to cover Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's launch of the yellow bicycles that happened yesterday, that are going to the LC1s and LC3s to mobilize for the NRM elections and campaigns. And now what they do is, before these people go on to cover news about Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, they are scrutinized and they are tested to make sure by the time they go near the president, they are negative. Now, if you look at what really happened, This person went into test. It was a mandatory test.
Before they went
to cover the president's event, and they found that he was positive. And now that means that they need to trace his contacts or their contacts and find the people that they were in contact. And that means that almost the whole vision team that was there need to go under self-quarantine for 14 days. So we're going to have the workers go under self-quarantine. And again, we wish them all the best. We wouldn't want to wish our fellow journalists evil.
Well, truth be told, COVID-19 is real. And whoever is watching the show, I want you to listen to this. COVID-19 is real. And it's now getting closer to us as journalists. And the fact that 2 media houses have reported cases of COVID-19, Nation Media and Vision Group. That means we are not far away from it.
That means
like
we are more...
and there's been some bit of laxity in the media towards the fight against COVID-19. First and foremost, there was a story running on social media that what happened to the campaign against COVID-19 has the elections taken over against COVID-19. So there was that kind of a debate on social media. And that goes back to us as journalists. I've had people say that, Chris and Tifa, you talk too much about COVID-19.
Yes.
But it's our primary role.
Well, it is our primary role, and we have to educate people about COVID-19. Truthfully, Simon, Chris, it becomes too much to hear 13 deaths, 14 deaths, 15 deaths. We have 13 deaths. I shouldn't scare people out there. And it's tiring to hear COVID-19 all the time.
I know it is.
Whether they want to listen to it or not, it's the message that we ought to pass to the people. I mean, it's our duty to pass that message to the people out there.
Well, yesterday, truth be told, what is happening in the general public, there is a lot of laxity towards COVID-19. When you walk downtown, yesterday I had a chance to walk downtown. Deliberately, I did walk around downtown. And I took this picture. I don't know whether my producer will be able, because I shared with my producer.
Let me see that.
I took this picture.
Oh, I saw it. You shared in the group.
That soap was last used, I don't know when. It was completely dry. I stood at the entrance. I will not mention the place. I stood at the entrance of some place.
Wish you could.
No, I won't mention the place. But I stood there for about 10 minutes. And I watched whatever was happening. And people were just walking in. Those that endeavor to wash their hands.
They wash it with a small pieces of soap.
Not even soap. They would just do like this and then enter. Others never bothered. So I looked at the soap. It was so shocking. The soap was last used, I think, a few weeks ago. Completely dry, small to the size of a SIM card. So I'm like, okay. So now what if COVID-19 is present in this place? How many people are going to get infected?
Now, under the COVID-19 information that has been passed, there's information that if public transportation does not take care of themselves and they do not adhere to the Ministry of Health SOPs, they're going to be shut down again. And that is very possible. Now, if these people want to keep working, want to keep earning, and want to make a living out of themselves, I ask that we follow the SOPs put up by the Ministry of... I mean, besides, it's for our own good. But the journalists themselves, me inclusive, are ignoring the COVID-19 SOP or measures put by the Ministry of Health. Now, masks are hard to put on. I will tell you the truth, Simon Chris Makanga, they suffocate. You put on a mask and you can't breathe because it depends now on the kind of mask you're putting on and the type of material used in the mask.
True.
If it's not good material, you're going to suffocate. You're not going to breathe well. And if I have cough, for example, normal cough, I believe that if I coughed into the mask, I will breathe it in once again. But at all times, we ought to try our best to have the masks on as much as we can. At the end of the day, it's for our own good. Do you understand?
There's a question on the screen that how safe are journalists? Indeed, we are not safe.
We're not safe. We are on the forefront of COVID-19.
Truth. And I think there's need to do a mandatory test on all journalists because we are living with this disease. And some of us could be symptomatic, but we may not know. However, I was reading one of the documents. I don't want to believe whether it's true or false, whereby World Health Organization was saying that it's okay for a person who is symptomatic that person is
Symptomatic,
not,
yes.
is not dangerous to society. And I'm like, okay, does that tell the fact that Donald Trump chased away World Health Organization in the US and stopped the funding to the to the World Health Organization? And I'm like, okay, we've been trying to inform the public about the signs and symptoms. Now 4 months, World Health Organization comes out to say that if a person is symptomatic, is no danger to society.
Well, it's questionable about that. The last time we had a doctor in the studios, he was telling us asymptomatic patients can actually transmit COVID-19 even if they don't look like they have the sickness. So it's really not a question of whether they can or they cannot, because the ultimate answer or the ultimate question here is the fact that, look, journalists go out there to get the news and bring it out to the people. Now, we journalists are the ones that interact with the common person, with the local person. If there's a death that has been reported, where do you think the pictures come from? We take the pictures.
We take the pictures.
If there are cases that are reported from a certain community, we take
tell
the
the
pictures.
stories.
We tell the story. My tutor told me that there is no story that is more important than your life, that is worthy your life. Because once you don't take care of yourself as a journalist, who is going to tell the story if you die?
I think there is need to worry indeed, because like we've been on the far front on passing on information in regards to COVID-19. From day one. But now the disease is close to us. I think there's need to worry. And it's single Latif and everyone watching the show, that when you go downtown, where I come from, people hardly know much information about COVID-19. Truth be told, people hardly know much information. Like there was a video playing before. I was trying to go, I passed by, that was I think a few days ago, when I didn't Peter saying, yes, that one. And I was asking people, why are you not putting on masks? And people are like, ngavala nabote bazambala. And one lady was like, oh, maski wangu oliwa. She only had to remember the mask nga mazomubuza. Maski wangu oliwa jangu. Nsonyiwa, government nsonyiwa kubanga sambade mask. Abala tebamayina kumanya. Until we can't even have, we register death cases. When you ask people on the streets that how many cases of COVID-19 do we have in the country, people lost count. Even the informed people, you are informed, are corporate, but cases of COVID-19 is that in Uganda, people will not know.
No, they won't. And a lot of what I would suggest for media houses to do is get a kit, just like the mama kit. They need to get a kit for every journalist in their media house. The first kit should be gloves. The second kit should be a mask branded by the company, and then they need to have a sanitizer on every journalist that goes out to field. I don't know if we can make this happen as media company owners to try and protect the journalists that bring the money, bring the information to us. And besides, it's up to me and you, Simon Chris Makanga, to disseminate this information out there and tell people COVID-19 is real. Take care of yourselves and don't let this affect you.
Now, before we do exit from this, the Minister for Transport and Works, General Katumba Wamala, threatened to close public transport because tax people are violating the SOPs. And this is the truth. I've gone downtown, I've seen tax parks, how they operate. I've used the taxi just to see how things are done. Believe you me, people go. I'm
allowed to go into the taxi without putting on a mask.
Exactly.
Nobody sanitizes me. And then when there's no traffic, I'm allowed to actually sit near the next passenger, like this, you know? And you're like, can you guys take care of yourselves before anybody else does? I'm human too, you know. I defy the COVID-19 rules, but again, that shouldn't call for carelessness to the point where you can look at that, Simon.
That's what
I'm
talking
about. Look at that crowd
about.
that is trying to get into that taxi.
If there was somebody with the COVID-19 positive,
that whole group would be down by now. And that is what we are facing as a nation. And the question is, how are we supposed to deal with that with the 2021 general elections coming up? That is a very scary situation. It is new. It's
indeed,
really
it's so
scary
and so saddening indeed. Because looking at what exactly is happening, just in case there was somebody positive, that entire place would be infected.
Place. Look at that. Look at that, Simon Chris.
I think
Look at the crowd that has collected itself in one place. It's crazy. It's absolutely uncalled for and crazy. And I don't know what the Ugandan government can do about this. It's questionable, and we're asking, what can we do about this?
I think this time round, I know I've always been on Muntuwa once, and I've always vied for Muntuwa once, but if the Minister of Works and Transport comes out to say that, bajja kuwalizibwa okuggalawo entambula ey'olukale, nze ndaba nga kyetaagisibwa. If people have not put into action the SOPs themselves, tetujja kulinda wa taxi ye atugulire mask, no. Tetujja kulinda wa taxi atufulire sanitizer. We were in the beginning, they used to have sanitizers at the entrance of each taxi. They used to. Nubanga taxi picking up from the street nga basoka kufuira ka sanitizer. I think they bought the first bottle bwe yaggwawo nabo ne bakola naye yabadde sanitizer oba amazzi bagateka mu bottle and then they spray it on your hands, because that is also possible. Ugandans too yabanange it's also possible. I think it's better than nothing. No bakufuide sabuni, it's better than nothing. Water,
plain water is not better than nothing. Someone Chris
but at least let them maintain all that.
But we need to understand
if there is that, if the level of laxity has reached to that extent, I think we need to at least bazimirizeemuko.
Tulina okwetegerera Simon Chris Makanga. Now, look at a situation where public transport has been shut down. Omwana watu Latifa Hamid, how do I come to work? I'm just giving you an example of someone who stays in Chengera and they have to wake up one morning and come to work. But then Ninyabu taxis to come to work. What happens now that they're planning to close down public transportation? So all I'm saying is that the government hasn't already said that they're closing public transportation.
No. But it's threatening.
Now it is up to us to make sure that the government does not put this to pass. But let's put on the face masks, let us wash our hands, let us have hand sanitizers in our pockets. I'm thinking, Simon Chris, and then we put COVID-19 is real. Ask me about COVID-19. We walk with those shirts in the streets, because if people don't know about COVID-19, who's ask me about COVID-19, Jakuwa information, and I'll make sure that I ask you to adhere to the COVID-19 SOPs.
Now, moving on to another story that made rounds of headlines. Yesterday, the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, visited STV, and she had a chat with our own Haj Kaziwe Bashir. And before, there was an audio that was circulating on social media. Eranga bachigambiwa mbu yavudde mu one of the WhatsApp groups eza NRM group when yavudde wa chief whip wa government Honorable Ruth Nankabirwa agamba mbu akubira Honorable Passes Namuganza, Minister wa Lands, campaign ngagamba mbu aba NRM tebalonda Speaker Parliament Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga balonde Passes Namuganza nga yeso nga jawanti tebayinza kwesiga muntu ayekubira oludda oba omuntu akolera opposition bwatu byabaddaga kasooke tulabe ekifaananyi ekyo, then we'll be right back with our comments.
Kadaga wawuziddwa ku nsonga y'ebitundu ebipya ebyakatondebwawo Paalamenti, ategeezezza nti bonga Paalamenti si bwe balina obuyinza obwenkomeredde ku bitundu bino. Ono ategeezezza nti obuyinza buli mu gavumenti z'ebitundu, kabineeti, ko ne bannayuganda wamu n'omuwendo gw'abantu mu kitundu.
Ezisuka mitwalo 4. Therefore yatuukadde okufuna constituency ebbiri. Naye process eyitamu district council oba division council, negenda ministry ya local government, negenda mu cabinet ekkiriza nti kakati tukizawo twongereyo gundi, then finally nebajja mu parliament ffe tusembayo. So okusaba kwamwe then numbers.
Ku nsonga y'enguzi ekutte ejjembe mu bakulembeze b'eggwanga lino, Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga ategeeza nti Paalamenti terina kkomera era tesobola kusiba bali banguzi bano. Ono agambye nti wabula bo kye bakomako kwe kuwandiika alipoota olwo emirimu egisigadde ne gikolebwa ebitongole bya gavumenti ebirala.
Oga nti nkuwozeseza ate nze ngenda okusiba omulimu gwaffe kukola investigation, kukola recommendations, resolutions to our government. omulimu gwaffe kola nti tusaze nti yakola kino, this our recommendation mu interdiction ekikolwa public service ne government.
Speaker era nnyonnyodde ku nsonga yatuukawo wakati wa togikwatako gikwateko nga nnyonnyodde ku biki bye bayigamu. Ono agambye nti okusobola okutangira embeera eno okuddamu okubaawo bo nga paalamenti bakendeeza ebitongole by'obukuumi nga basigaza poliisi yokka. Ono agambye nti era basobola n'okuggalawo emiryango egimu nga kati buli omu ayita mu geeti nkulu.
Ti okuggyako poliisi twekatagawo bakuumi balala balina okubeera poliisi abalala bonna bagende bakuuma abantu awalala kubanga oba n'obuzibu okumanya ani gwokolagana naye, so naga nti tukyagala nobody except the civil police okubeera ku parliament era that's what it is. Emiryango egyalinga gye bayitangamu twagisiringa gyonna kati oyita main gate oba oyagala okuyingira mu parliament oyita main gate.
Ku kyebbula ly'emirimu ekiri mu ggwanga naddala mu bavubuka, Speaker ategeezezza nti kino tekisobola kubuusibwa maaso nga gavumenti erina omulimu gw'okusomesa abantu ko n'okuteekerateekera eggwanga lino n'okukyusa endowooza y'abantu ne bava mu kunoonya emirimu ne batandika okwetandikirawo egyabwe. Nze
for that report from the Speaker of Parliament who visited us yesterday, and she talked about quite a number of issues. However, I really wanted her to comment about the issue of Land Minister Honorable Passes Namuganza. However, she declined to comment about that. Naye, I want us to dwell so much on the audio that was circulated by the government chief whip, Honorable Ruth Nankabirwanga agamba nti balonde Honorable Passes Namuganza ranga ye ensonga zaawa nti Speaker yekubidde nnyo oludda lwa opposition. But I want maybe you can first bring your
now when you look at Ruth Nankabirwa, now her role is to ensure that all government activities are coordinated and are put into place. Now for Ruth Nankabirwa to send that WhatsApp audio, the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, has had a position in Parliament where she had no reason to be biased. She has no reason to be partisan. Because as a Speaker of Parliament, if you're not objective and you don't see things with an objective lens, there's nothing else that you're doing as the Speaker of Parliament. You can, whatsoever, no matter what you do, you cannot be partisan. Now, when the Speaker, Rebecca Kadaga, came up, when Nankabirwa came up and said the Speaker has not been doing good, now we look at her as someone who thinks that the NRM manifesto needs to be pushed forward by NRM candidates who went through the NRM ticket. Now the Speaker, Rebecca Kadaga, went through the NRM ticket. And for her to vie one more time as the second vice chairperson of NRM, CEC, NRM now Ruth is saying, while you were in Parliament, while we gave you a chance in 2015, you refused to pass all the manifestos that we had. You refused to pass the things that we wanted you to pass. But in support of Kadaga, Kadaga needed to be non-partisan. Kadaga needed to pass policies that were for the people. Now, speaking to Kadaga herself, she noted that most of these people who are against her in her party are the corrupt officials. She made it clear those are the corrupt officials, mafias, who are fighting her for fighting them in giving services to the people. Now, and she says the people who are supporting her are actually the opposition because they have seen what she does. And this is the basis that Ruth Nankabirwa came up and said that, you know what, Rebecca Kadaga was there. No gamba mbuno, I am not passing on all NRM manifestos and activities of NRM in the parliamentary house. I'm going to be fair. And that is the reason why the opposition is supporting you. Well, yes, it is the NRM and you're supporting the opposition.
Truth be told, I want to buy your idea. Like the Speaker is supposed to be non-partisan.
Yes, definitely. You cannot be partisan.
She has been more objective than being subjective, according to me.
Yes.
But the issues of Honorable Passes Namuganza and the Right Honorable Speaker come from way back home.
No, I understand. Before we go there, Simon Chris, because right now my question is, their issue started as two people, but now we are seeing an extra person, that is Ruth Nankabirwa, coming into the fight of these two people.
That's where I'm coming, and that's where I'm heading to. Now, the issues of the two ladies.
Yes.
I don't want us to discuss them because they come
Oh,
from,
please do. Oh, please do. I would like to listen to that
I
issue.
think they started
it's quite exciting, and the history bring us back to what is happening right now.
In March 2018, when they wanted to, when Honorable Pasis Namuganza came into Parliament and said that they installed an unknown Nkono in the total disregard of several interventions and family misunderstandings on the succession of the Nkono. Now, that is history for now. Now, I want to base my discussion on the third party that came in. Well, it's okay to debate for or to campaign for another person, but where the problem comes in is you making personal issues and bringing them onto the national issues. Right, Honorable Speaker of Parliament, like you said, she's supposed to be
Definitely.
Okay, and I want the general public and everyone watching this show to know that the President of Uganda has been advocating or has been fronting women into the leadership of this country. But nature has it that women are naturally born rivals.
Emotional is the right word. No, emotional is the right word. Because we've seen women who support themselves. We've seen numbers that coming up to support Kadaga and says Pasis Namuganza needs to stop. Because one, Kadaga is way older than her in age, and she is literally a mother to Pasis Namuganza. Now, Pasis says that Kadaga is my grandmother, not even my mother to start with. So don't even say that, you know.
Let me first drive this home. Like I was saying, that women, nature has it that women, you said I call them emotional.
Thank you.
But most cases, the rivals, because when you look at the fellow woman, someone would say that, yes, she's beautiful, but yeah, I have better eyes than her.
Chris, you'll accept that we have instances where women have come up to correct each other's crowns.
Yes, that happens.
But we have instances where men have also come to be rivalries.
Yes, it's true.
Exactly. Okay. So you can't say this is a women issue. This is a Kadaga and a Pasis issues. Can we contain them in that perspective?
If I may contain them in that perspective, okay, I buy that. And what I wanted to say, Latifa, that I don't want personal issues to be involved into national issues. What Honorable the government chief whip Ruth Nankabila is trying to do, I think it's something that is trying to weaken the other side in a negative way, because you can't say that somebody has been partisan or has been basing so much on the other side. Meanwhile, let's first have a listen to that that audio, and then it will
she was powerful and passionate in that audio. Let's listen to it. Very funny.
Ruth Nankabirwa mbabuulidde nze mmanyi bye mbadde mpita mu paliamenti. Twagala abantu abeewaayo okulwanirira pate, so si kulyamu pate yaffe lukwe nga bakolagana n'opposition. Ebyamutya Rebecca Kadaga mubiraba ku TV byakola ne mu paliamenti. Katuyingizeewo Namuganza asobole okutuyambako okuyamba President Museveni ng'akolera pate yaffe.
We've had it. She's saying that Kadaga is being selfish and wants the position for selfish reasons. And I do not know why it's important for her to come in between the fights of the two people. For me, it should have been that when two elephants fight, the grass is the one that gets hurt. But now we are seeing the sky being part of the fight. And for me, I am waiting, not as if I'm waiting for a movie. I'm waiting for the president to come out and pick someone. See, the issue is the president of the Republic of Uganda is the father of the NRM party. And we're having two kids fight. Now we are waiting to see what will happen. Will the father pick out someone between those two? Chris, Pasis Namuganza and Kadaga have had issues. Pasis has literally come up to say, Kadaga, you're a grandmother. First of all, in 2015, we made an arrangement that you're going to sit down after this particular season and let someone else take over. The second thing, she threatened Kadaga and Nadiope, the Chabazinga of Busoga, and said that they both ought to keep out of her business. Now, for a person who is a child of the Busoga region, it's questionable as to how you will insult your own Chabazinga and someone who is older than you because of politics. It's very questionable. And now that a lot of people have questioned Kadaga on what she's doing, they've told her two things. One, edge. And she told them, I like how vocal and brave she is. She said, you cannot talk to me about Edge, who is 65 years, and leave the president, who is 75 years. Why don't you talk to them first, and then come back to me and talk about Edge? And a lot of people have questioned the fact that Kadaga is going on the affirmative action of women in trying to get these positions. They say, Kadaga, you're now fit enough to be the president of the Republic of Uganda. Why don't you go for that post and leave these woman MP female positions to the Pasis Namuganzas? Now, that's a position that we're waiting to see what will happen to it. We're waiting to see what will happen to this particular rivalry. We're waiting to see what will happen to the competition. Well,
besides the bickery, as we take a break, besides the bickery that is happening between the two people, what people want to see is service delivery.
Yes.
And when you look at what Honorable Speaker has done in the Eastern region, now I'm trying to compare the two people or putting the two people on the weighing scale. Politically, the Speaker of Parliament is way stronger. When you look at in terms of delivery, because omuntu nachabwaba aino muntu oba region webe ino muntu asolo omunene in government, what they expect is okubasakira. When you look at what the Speaker of Parliament has done in the Eastern region, he has fought for women emancipation.
She has.
He has fought for the girl child. She has
if you look at the feeder formation of the feeder company, that's all. All.
She has been at the forefront in the fight against the girl child. So there are lots of
women
things.
Empowerment, women and girl child.
Yes. Now talk about Honorable Pasis Namuganza. Instead of serving Ugandans, we have so many land issues in Uganda. Quite a number of them. Every single day, at least one person dies because of land. If not, every person steps in court because of land.
Of land issues.
We have issues at hand. Later, take away the personal issues, or Asokazi take a body and deal with the national issues, because all what we want as Ugandans is service delivery. Well,
on that note, let's take a break. As we will tomorrow or so, we'll look at this particular issue going on between Kadaga and Pasis Namuganza, and also the Deputy Speaker of Parliament Olanya and the Speaker of Parliament Rebecca Kadaga. It's a whole big issue, and hopefully we'll dive into that tomorrow. Let's go for a break, and we'll be right back with.
Abalamuzi babagamba, if the incumbent president frustrates all democratic means to leave power, temusibayo muntu n'omu kutwiza. This is why Besigye is released. Museveni ekibi kyalina talina mawulire. Nawandika n'ekitabo kyange, the role of which could have been in Malaysia society, sapule njijjamu.
Noyingire sabo.
Katonda wa bujja. Nze Katonda w'obujja. Bw'oba olaga eri, sapule twegitwala. Omusajja omubbi bamujje ewuwe ewaka kabanga lyezi, ne bamujje ewuwe ewaka yabadde mu ttooyi, naye tebamukiriza na tusanitize. Bamutadde butesi mu piikaavu mu State House. Naye omukyayina bwe yawulidde nti ono bamukutte, yeesize kiwi, yayitiddeko yadduse ng'omuddugavu.
Turn up the vibe and turn the volume up. Zine bachali twagala kunyumirwa. Owo turn up the vibe and don't be a puta eating zene. Baby twaze tukubidwa. Oh na na na. Oh na 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 na. Tuli wano ku STV. Oh na na na. Yo wagwan people, it's your boy YK Benda the boss. Tenda fasta na yabiga. Bumziki stenda benda. Straight on STV. Keep it locked. Ovako. Boom.
Bampita Dr. Franklin Mondo Mugisha wano ku STV. Biri kumachakera nange nga twogera ku nsonga ez'enjawulo. Engeri z'okwezimba mu ggwanga lyaffe, engeri z'okuzimba gye tubeera gye tuva. Waategedde obwavu lwa kibuluma. Mikwano gy'abaavu baani? Otambula otya? Osula otya? okusalawo okwo okw'obulamu kutandikira ku nfuna yo. Emikwano gy'abagagga n'abaavu tusobola ogitegeera ku STV. Tugenda kwogera ku nsonga z'aba Slay Queen. Tutambula tutya kukyusa omulembe gw'abawala baffe kubanga bafuuka babuvunaanyizibwa era nga bakozi nga banoonyi ba kikumi. Tugenda kwogera ku bakanyama bazimba batya emibiri y'omubiri bwe gulimu ssente oba bwe bulamu bwe twetaaga. Omukazi tasobola kuleka musajja w'emmotoka mukaaga mbu akwate 6 pack amufune mbu batambule naye wano ku STV Big Network. See ya.
Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing? My name is Him Kim, the entertainment guru, mastermind of fun, joy and happiness. You are watching STV Select for
the video comes out very well because that's our work.
Lero njagala obabuulire ku kintu ekyakuleese wano.
Twaza kushutinga video yaffe bagiyita obulamu bunyuma kufa. Olina kulemerako nga SK Mbuga mwana. Nawe n'obeera influential mwana ku community. Okitegeera mwana.
Tusobola okugamba like it needs time sibyakukwatira kinyuma newe obudde. You have to sit. We care much about that. Wabula kimanyi engeri gye nkikolamu. Partner wange yampala train then nange ng'omuntu.
Don't miss the free pass every Saturday on STV as we get the exclusive access.
Well, a very good morning once again and welcome to the first show with me, Latifa Hamid. We've had a very long day. Yesterday was the elections of the youth councillors and the youth chairman, and the elections happened. It was marred with violence. It was marred with no social distancing, and that discussion, we're going to have it in the topic of discussion later on with Simon Chris Makanga. However, right now I would like to dive into the guest that we have in the studios, and that is Paul Awol, the MP Busulu South. He is vying for the position. He's still not the MP Busulu South. We're going to be talking to him on matters regarding national importance to try and pick out his mind and see whether he's ready for the position of MP South Busulu. I'll let you introduce yourself because I know besides politics you do a lot more.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much for hosting me. My name is Paul Awol. I am a businessman. I am a father. I am a businessman. I'm a father. And I'm into a couple of other things. But for now, let us talk about Busiro South.
Okay.
I'm vying for the MP seat.
Well, I'm curious about the businesses that you do. Out of curiosity,
Okay.
what are some of the businesses that you do?
Okay, I do construction. I have a company called Shinray Group. It does construction for the last about 8-9 years. I also do transportation. I do tours and travel for Funtime Safaris, Kampala Boulevard.
Okay.
And lastly, two more. I have an application which is just picking up.
How old are you?
It's called, I'm 29.
You're 29.
Yeah.
So a 29-year-old person who will be looked at as youth in the Ugandan constitution is going for the MP Busulu South position. And before we go there, the country has 1,500 COVID-19 infections. And we're looking at a position where the members of parliament and the number of people that want to vie in the 2021 general elections are actually supposed to go through scientific elections and campaigns. Now, what is your position in terms of scientific elections?
Actually, I totally agree with the scientific election because
Scientific campaign, so to say,
scientific campaign, because we have no option. COVID is actually serious. And yesterday I just saw it in the news that they reported 60 more cases. Some of the media houses.
In one day, yes.
Yeah, haven't been affected directly. So I think we have no option but to do that. And it's always good to adjust with the situation, whatever comes your way. At the end of the day, the good thing is social media, we have a couple of TV stations, we have a couple of radio stations. Still, you can reach the people without physically meeting them. And with this will actually limit the bribery that has been taking place during election time. Now, you'll have to convince people. You have to make them understand you. It's more of ideas and ideology more than bribery. So I totally agree with it.
Okay, there you go. You heard it from Paul Awol saying he is in support of the scientific elections that ought to happen coming very soon. Now, going to the youth elections that have just happened in the villages, we saw that they had lining behind candidates as a form of elections in the villages. And we're also seeing that there was a bit of a late registration, or, confirming the number of voters and names were missing in the voter register. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, first of all, it is very gumshoe that they had to line behind people in the 21st century. That means the government does not consider the youth as important as other members of the society, as the elders, until the youth are the foundation of this country. This country is mainly made of youth. So if you're ignoring them, that you cannot invest money in their elections, that means you're literally ignoring the country at large, because they're the majority. Secondly, about the confusion that was there.
Yes.
Some of the people were not appearing on the ballot paper, and yet they were nominated. I think there's a lot the Electoral Commission has to work on now that we're going into the presidential and parliamentary elections. Otherwise, this is a sign that they're not even prepared for the presidential elections, and yet we have hardly 6 months.
Okay.
There's a lot of drama, and and this was caused by the Electoral Commission. I cannot blame people who were violent and so on, because if you are nominated, fully nominated, you campaign, and then you reach the election day, and you don't find your name, what would you do?
Well, that is spoken by the youth himself, someone who is vying for an MP position and hadn't gone for a youth position. Why not?
No, I don't believe that life is a process. I think some things are random. There are people, there are good leaders. Okay, I'll pose a question to you. Do you know any minister or MP? Actually, let me talk about the elected position. An MP who came from those youth elections.
Well, I've seen a number of them.
No, one. Mention the number of them. They're not there, because at the end of the day, those ones never go beyond the youth. It's a whole totally different world.
So you decided that I'm not going to go through the youth elections and then come to Member of Parliament. I'm going straight to the Member of Parliament.
Yes, and not just not going through the
youth elections, yes,
but also not going through political parties, because I'm actually independent.
Oh, good to know. He's independent, ladies and gentlemen. Now, coming back to the last question before we jump into Yobusulo Member of Parliament aspiration, we're looking at the COVID-19 situation in the country. Do you think the Ministry of Health has done enough to guide people towards the measures put up to avert COVID-19?
Yeah, the Ministry of Health tried and did much, but at the point where we are right now, releasing everything is actually a necessary evil, because you cannot let the economy die because of this. Is not the first pandemic. Is it in 1980 something? I don't remember the exact year. There was another pandemic, but we can't allow the economy to go down. People now, just for these couple of months that people did not work, very many businesses have died off. We have to survive. At the end of the day, I think people just have to be more cautious.
And the closure of public transportation?
I don't think they should close it anymore. Actually, I think they should even open the airport.
Okay.
Because other countries are operating at the end of the day. We need to learn to live with it. Just like people have learned to live with HIV and other diseases. Yeah.
All right. So why do you think you're good for Busolo South? In a few words.
In a few words, I'm going to talk about personality. I am young. I'm vibrant. I'm energetic. And above all, I'm approachable.
Okay.
Like I said, most of the society is made of the youth. Okay? But most of our leaders are elders, 50 years. The way you approach your father is not the same way you approach your brother. With your father, you have to think twice before you say Mzee. You understand? But someone of your age, you can just say, hey, what's up, So I can listen to them. We can interact. And above all, the future is young. The future is, we have given the elders with due respect, we've given them a lot of time to prove themselves, and they've totally failed.
Speaking of your personality, your approachable personality, there are allegations that we have received as STV House that you are of a violent nature and you are you possess illegal guns. There are allegations that we received, and would like to listen to your view about that particular allegation.
Okay, that was a cloud chasing person. That's why I don't even respond to rubbish. It's a cloud chasing. I have a security company, so that means I can purchase as many guns as possible. But as anyone,
registered guns.
Yes, as anyone.
So you're saying on national television that you have guns.
Hold up. I'm not saying that I have guns. The company has guns.
Okay.
I don't have a gun.
Okay.
And if I have a gun, that means I illegally have it. And secondly, those are accusations. I did not. I don't even want to talk about this because it's not worth it.
Yeah.
If you saw that I ignored, I have a huge following on social media.
Yes.
But I ignored it because it's rubbish.
Well, it's about an incident that happened in Bukoto Heights. I don't want to go into details, but that is what the incident is about.
At the end of the day, I don't want to discuss this in detail. That's why you say it, because that's why you're not mentioning a name. I would also mention it. But if you notice that the policemen who came there illegally, and they were locked up after that incident.
Okay.
They were locked up.
Okay.
Because the gentleman, okay, I don't want to talk about this.
Let's
talk about things that are sensible.
Does that have anything to do with your character as an incumbent or someone who has to come as the member of parliament?
Honestly, I'm not going to discuss this. It's not worth it.
Okay, you're taking the fifth. All right, we'll leave it at that. Now, would like to get out of the studios right now, and I'll give you just a few minutes to say something before we do.
Baseball banyabo baganda bange abooluganda bamama ne batata ab'ebusiro mwe musobola okunfuula kyendi abazadde baffe n'abakulu baffe tubasamu ekitiibwa ne bakoze ekimala naye njagala twongereze ku ekyo nga babuuka twezimbe tubeeko gye tutuuka ekirala njagala bategeeza mbu amaanyi gali mu ggwe Ssaabasajja yagamba mbu guno mulembe gw'abavubuka mwebeeremu mubeeko gye mukyusa mu byalo byammwe.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it from Awol Paul. Thank you for being part of this conversation. And if you still have any questions for him, put it on our Instagram, on our Facebook, or on our Twitter, and we shall have those questions answered even when he is off screen. For now, we'll take a break and we'll come back. The first show returns.
You're watching STV Select for Fun.
Abalamuzi babagamba if the incumbent president frustrates all democratic means to leave power, temusibayo muntu n'omu kutwiza. This is why Besigye is released. Museveni ekibi kyalina talina mawulire. Nawandika n'ekitabo kyange the role of which could have been in Malaysia society sapulenti jamu
noyingire sabo
katonda wa bujja nze katonda bw'obujja bw'oba olaga eri sapule twegitwala omusajja omubbi bamugye ewuwe ewaka kabanga lyezi ne bamugye ewuwe ewaka yabadde mu ttooyi naye tebamukiriza na tusanatayizi bamutadde buteesi mu piikaavu mu State House naye omukyayina bwe yawulidde nti ono bamukutte yeesize kiwi yayitiddeko yadduse ng'omuddugavu.
Bampita Dr. Franklin Mondo Mugisha wano ku STV biri ku makyakera nange nga twogera ku nsonga ez'enjawulo engeri tusobola okwezimba mu ggwanga lyaffe engeri tusobola okuzimba gye tubeera gye tuva wategedde obwavu lwa kibuluma mikwano gy'abaavu baani otambula otya osula otya Okusalawo okw'obulamu kutandikira ku nfunayo. Emikwano gy'abagagga n'abaavu tusobola ogitegeera no ku STV. Tugenda kwogera ku nsonga z'abaslay queen. Tutambula tutya kukyusa omulembe gw'abawala baffe kubanga bafuuka babuvunaanyizibwa era nga bakozi nga banoonyi ba kikumi. Tugenda kwogera ku bakanyama bazimba batya emibiri y'omubiri bwe guli mu ssente oba bwe bulamu bwe twetaaga. Omukazi tasobola kuleka musajja w'emmotoka mukaaga mbwakute akwate 6 pack amufune mubatambule naye wano ku STV. Big network. See ya.
Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing? My name is Kim, the entertainment guru, mastermind of fun, joy and happiness. You are watching STV Select for Fun.
The video comes out very well because that's our work.
Leero njagala obabuulire ku kintu ekyakuleese wano.
Twaza kushutinga video yaffe bagita obulamu bunyuma kufa. Olina kulemerako nga SK Mbuga mwana. Nawe n'obeera influential mwana ku community. Okitegeera mwana.
Si byakukwatira kinyuma newe wobudde you have to sit because I won't say much about that wabula kimanyi engeri gyekikulamu ne wange yampala train then nange nk'omuntu.
Don't miss the free pass every Saturday on STV as we get the exclusive access.
You're watching STV Select for Fun.
Good morning once again and welcome back from that slight break, lad. You are still watching the first show and we are still into our segment called Perspective 2021. My name is Simon Chris Makangeranga kasera kanu tugenda kubanga twegatibwako omukyala Mekete njagala muyita omukyala Mekete kubanga alwaniridde nnyo omuntu wa wansi era nga omumbejja Zalwango Laira ng'ava mu kibiina kya NRM. She is the acting youth Councillor Kisenyi wano mu Kampala Central. Laira Zalwango omumbejja oba ntandike n'omumbejja omumbejja Zalwango Laira ensanyusa okula kukyaza ku STV
nange okulabako sebo nange okunkyazaako sanyu ly'amaanyi
tutandikirewo oli youth councillor Kisenyi bw'obadde era ndowooza okyali Kisenyi mpitayo nnyo ebiseera bingi nnyo ebizimbe bimeruka enkya n'eggulo
naffe tubiraba biringa buti
ababadde bakola emirimu gyabwe baddawa
ababadde bakola emirimu gyabwe ekituufu naffe abamu abakulembeze tetumanyi kuba ebizimbe tubiraba kusituka tetumanyi bantu abo gye badda
Kisenyi tubadde tumwogerako ebbanga ddene nnyo wano naddala mu biseera ebya COVID-19 nga gwe omukulembeze abantu baayo balina information yenkanawa ku COVID-19 nga gwe abakiikirira ku City Hall.
No. Tubadde ffe aba youth tubeera ku division.
Mubeera ku division, yes.
Yeah, Central Division. Abantu ba Kisenyi obanga slums places oba Mungu ye oba akuteekako kisa simanyi kuba mbadde mpitangayo ebbanga lyonna okuva COVID we yatandika gw'otambula ne sanitizer n'otambula ne masike n'otuuka nga banno bakuba muziki naddala ekisenyi si kyonna wabula parts ezimu tulinamu zooni nga 2 zirizo zekyawa.
Mukozeewo kingamu abakulembeze?
Ngafe abakulembeze alhamdulillah tubaddengawo nga tubagaidinga abakulembeze bagula ebidomola abamu banaaba engalo kuba nabo batya okufa. Masks zibaddewo abakulembeze bagula nga zino tezinnabaawo netujja nga tuzigaba tuziyisaamu abamu bakansala abeesimbyewo ne baziyisaamu kuba kiba kituwa nti tujja naffe katugabe masks ezo tusobole okufunirako obululu okimanyi.
Mask muzikubiddeko campaign
ezasooka ezitali za gavumenti kati ozigula noteekamu akasenteko kitegeera n'okajja mu nsawo yo. Of course oba olina okukubirako campaign akuwa kuba of course oba wayitamu dda biki banange nzija era akwebaza nti neyazza kansala kitegeera naawe oba ovimba
ng'olyawo oluvimbo ne Uganda yaffe. Nawe kakati oyagala kujja ku bwa kansala Kampala Central era nga mu kamyufu ka NRM mulimu abantu 3 mulimu Nakubirwa Margaret ne Nakubulwa Margaret ne Kyomuhendo Amina. Weerabawa amaanyi go gali luddawa?
Ekituufu wenneeraba nze ndi wonna. Ekisooka ekisenyi kyaffe ekyo kirimu abantu b'enjawulo. Abantu ab'enjawulo bali batya? Mulimu gwe bayita omuvubuka mungi nnyo ate nga nange sigenze nnyo wala ndi mu eyo range ey'obuvubuka. Mulimu gwe bayita omuyaaye. Omuyaaye ng'oyagala omuganza wefuule muyaaye omuggyemu kyoyagala kitegeera. Mulimu abantu bano abalala ab'obuvunaanyizibwa abo bo nabo nina enkwanaganya gye nabakwanaganyaamu.
Baliwo ab'osinza okukwatagana nabo?
Abantu bensinza okukwatagana nabo be bavubuka bo tukwataganye nnyo kubeera abavubuka abo naddala abaana kuba covid ekanandagemu abaddengawo. Kati nze kye nakola kwe kugenda nga ngenda mu maka g'abantu nga mbabuulirira wensanga abaana naddala ab'obuwala baffe abaana ab'obuwala tuvaako mangu tutegeera. Kati ne bampita naddala abavubuka abo bambi avaawo asanyuse nakulekera n'ennamba y'essimu kuba aba alina kyatagamba mami ng'alina okigamba nga kyamunyiga. So we tunaatuukayo era nja kulambululira.
Tandikirawo wennyini awo?
Tandikirawo mu covid muno nalimu nnyo mu mmere nga mbayita mubeere waka kuba nze nali manya enkola yaabwe oluggi oluggale tebaluwa mmere ne mbayitamu tubeere waka bannange tubeere waka tufune emmere muno baali babookya bambi kati nga mbagamba mubeere wamu mwegatte bajja bbawa emmere eyo abantu abalimu tebajja kuwaako kamu kati nekinyamba nnyo abantu bagifuna. Kati we natambula waggulu wali amaka ag'obuvunaanyizibwa abaana bakuze abaana banyirira covid anyiriza abaana bafunye holiday gye batabafunangako mu nsi muno kitegeera. Tinga ngamba mami njagala kwogeramu ne basista ewaka baliwo bameka ekyo kyo nkikoze kuba tewali buzibu kutambula nze ntambula ewaka waliwo bameka tujja kwekuŋŋaanya n'abagundi nja bayita nti munkubira essimu tukambagamba mutuweemu space abazadde bavaawo okusobola okuggyamu ono sisita ekintu kyoyagala. Mugamba munange nkubuulire basajja bali mu kisenyi muno balina ssente naye bafumbo balina abaana baabwe ate benkana mmwe. Kati nze mbateekamu fiyeeri mbagamba abasajja abo mubalaba bagenda ewantu ne babagamba funayo omwana omuto ajja kumalira ekizibu.
Ebyo bikoledde ebbanga ki?
Mbikoze okuva covid we yatandika kuba nze nasalawo ngamba ate mbeera ewaka nange
kikyofunyeemu?
Nfunyeemu okuganja ennyo mu bazadde b'abaana abo mbafunyeemu kuba omugamba sente ezo oziraba si zize za looni talina gyakutwala just akwagalamu lumu ofune olubuto ajja kuvaawo afune omulimu ewalala kitegeera ate ggwe ofune olubuto ogenda eri gye nagamba mu kakajjo otandika okunywa obwenge nti ewaka oba toyala. So kati mami musanyuse be free eri mami mufuule mukwano gwasooka okusinga neighbor mugambe kyoyagala mama yasinga ondabako ekintu sikijjawo oli wabula nkola
weewaawo kati tudde ku nsonga y'ekifo kyoyagala okwesimbako oyagala okuva ku bwa youth councilor Kisenyi weeyongereko eddaala odde ku bwa councilor Kampala Central abamu bagamba nti mwagala kwekkusa kiki ekikutwala ku kifo ekyo
twagala kwekkusa
mwagala kulyamu buli era mbu mutuuka eri ne mwerabira abantu ba wansi ne mutandika okukola bye mukola ku Lwokuna lwa wiiki ewedde bakansalas abasinga tebaatuula ku kwa kansalas 34 11 be baatuula oli omu ku bba abagenda okwekkusa
naye nga lwaki tebaatuula
ko kasiti yawera
osanga balina ensonga zaabwe engeri gye sibaddeeyo sijja boogerera yes naye kati nze nzize ekisooka nze nga Leila numirirwa okuva omuntu asooka ekyo kyava mu nze kuva mabega naye nga abantu baŋŋamba lwaki tokola kino kuba nze newako obujulizi nyina n'emikwano gyange bo abanjulira nze gwolaba mu 2013 nali nsula ku Salama Road nasanga abaana nga bali weeru ku lusebe lw'enju nze nali natembe yange engoye saati g'abasajja nga nzitwala nyina ofuna sente kati nensanga abaana enkuba etonnya bamiiba mbayita mwana omu yali myezi 3 omulala 14 tebalina kye bamanyi naye nenkwata abaana abo nembafunira ebyokulya amata kuba kali kaana kumakya nembatwala ku Owino Police kuba enyanguyira nnyo kuba wenkolerawo kati ne baŋŋamba ate tukola ku kesi z'abaana genda Odi Kampala nendeka y'abaana abo ne bankubira abahoomu ekyanja home care ekyanja abaana abo ne bajja ne balambula we nabajja ne bajja nga bafollowinga omwana n'abalagirira ne baleeta ab'olulimi lwe gye yali ne bajjako babasajja be yagamba DNA nga tewali omwana n'addukayo mu hoomu omukulu naye nebaza mukama omwana omuto yagenda mu US bamutwala ekyo kyampa essanyu ngamba kitegeeza ndi nange w'amaanyi ndi wa mugaso
nga tunatera okumaliriza ejjo akalulu k'abavubuka kakubiddwa walabye omuvuyo egyakabaddemu kiki okyogerako
naffe baffe tekawedde bulungi era balina okukaddamu leero akalulu k'abavubuka nti omanyi abavubuka buli omu aganya n'ekibuli ekitegeera enjogera yaffe n'ekibuli nkusingako so babuzeemu oba
okwesotinga mu ngeri ki
omanyi abavubuka we babeera ndi muvubuka naye abaana naddala abalenzi singa kabadde kabawala tekali badde bwe kati abaana abalenzi bo baagala nze nina amaanyi nange nina amaanyi ate baleeseemu eno ensonga nti ndi ttiimu gundi kitali kituufu kubanga youth ttiimu ezo tezituyambye ekyamazima ttiimu ezo tezituyambye tulina kwerwanirira nga ffe okwejjayo fine si kyali youth naye kati mpitiramu eyo kuba yabadde youth naye nga tebyabadde birungi kuba amasasi gavuddeyo bikyabamu tebalonze kati ebya youth sijja bigenda nnyo wala
mu ddakiika emu njagala oyogere akatalekeka tuna mu kamera eyo oyogere akatalekeka
akatalekeka nga kati akokumpa akalulu
kiri gyoli oba ekisembayo oli wa NRM oyagala kubeera kansala wa Kampala Central tuna mu kamera oyogere n'abalonzi
nze Omumbejja Zarango Leila nesimbyewo nga kansala w'omuluka gw'Ekisenyi 2 kubanga njagala kale NRM sijja gamba nti eri perfect no one is perfect naye nga ffe ate tetulina bagoberera eri naffe tubabeeremu bwe tuti kuba nze nga nze bwe nkuba akagire ngamba nze kulumba ono kuba kuva buto ndi mu NRM fine ffenna NRM tetuyambye ate tetujja ffenna kudduka tudduke akatubabeeremu bwe tuti tulabe ate gye bikoma osanga naffe bali tujjukira naddala NRM omuvubuka mbadde nsaba bamufeeko kati nga nze nzize tujjawo kiri ekyaliwo NRM tekoze NRM omuvubuka tubawagira naye ate bakama baffe oluusi beekubirira ababavuma bebaagala kati nze kale kambireete wano muzadde wange kyanjagala lwaki kibiina kino naye nobagamba biki tebagira okitegeera maybe nga bekikwatako tebatulaba naye nga ffe tuwagidde NRM kuva mu buto bwaffe twagala ekibiina ekyo kuba newe kivaawo oba omukulembeze n'avaawo ffe ekibiina tusigalawo nkyagala mu musaayi sijjaku era abantu baŋŋamba lwaki wajjidde mu kala eyo lwaki wajjidde mu kala eyo ate ye yange sigenda gigoba kitegeera era bino bye batugamba mutuwe ssente bazitusaba kyekyamazima naye NRM tetusaamu ssente mu kalulu akasooka era neerwanako nze era nsaba mumpagire ngenda kufaayo eri omuntu wa wansi abakyala abavubuka nja balwanirira n'ekirala ekisembayo kyensaba nga nze wa NRM abaana bakoze ebintu bingi nnyo bakoze skilling abaana batunze obugatto bakola amasefuliya temumanyi gye gava amasefuliya ago gava mu kisenyi obugatto obwo bwa craft buva mu kisenyi saba wawabaawo ebivulo ebiyita aba NRM aba kisenyi tu nabo bewolese okitegeera so njagala okulobingira abantu wawabaawo nti kati oyinza okugamba nyinayo awange masindi abaana mubayigirize kati oyo yajja kukwata banne nga 10 bagende bamaleyo emyezi ezo ssente kitegeera nze njagala nnyo okulobingira omuntu wa wansi kuba sijja gamba ngenda kukola tekisoboka
weewaawo tweyanziza nnyo okutukyalirako era katukwagaliza obuwanguzi n'ekifo kyoyagala tomanya totwerabiranga
sawa nange Allah akkirize mumpagire kuba si buli omuntu ali ekyo kyemuli bannange.
All right, now the first show is going to be taking another break, and the perspective will be returning again tomorrow with Adams Mayambala. For now, we'll be right back.
You're watching STV Select for Fun.
abalamuzi babagamba nti if the incumbent president frustrates all democratic means to leave power temusibayo muntu n'omu kutwiza. This is why Besigye is released. Museveni ekibi kyalina talina mawulire. Nawandika n'ekitabo kyange the role of witchcraft in malicious society sapule njijjamu
noyingire sabo
katonda wa bujja nze katonda w'obujja bw'oba olaga eri sapule twekitwala omusajja omubbi bamujja ewuwe ewaka kabanga lyezi ne bamujja ewuwe ewaka yabadde mu ttooyi naye tebamukiriza na tusanitize bamutadde buteresi mu piikaavu ba mu state house naye omukyayina bwe yawulidde nti ono bamukutte yeesize kiwi yayitiddeko yadduse ng'omuddugavu.
bampita Dr. Franklin Mondo Mugisha wano ku STV biri ku makyakera nange nga twogera ku nsonga ez'enjawulo engeri tusobola okwezimba mu ggwanga lyaffe engeri tusobola okuzimba gye tubeera gye tuva wategedde obwavu lwa kibuluma mikwano gy'abaavu baani otambula otya osula otya okusalawo okwo okw'obulamu kutandikira ku nfunayo emikwano gy'abagaga n'abaavu tusobola ogitegeera no ku STV tugenda kwogera ku nsonga z'abaslay queen tutambula tutya kukyusa omulembe gw'abawala baffe kubanga bafuuka babuvunaanyizibwa era nga bakozi nga banoonyi ba kikumi tugenda kwogera ku bakanyama bazimba batya emibiri y'omubiri bwe gulimu ssente oba bwe bulamu bwe twetaaga omukazi tasobola kuleka musajja w'emmotoka mukaaga mbwakute akwate 6 pack amufune mubatambule naye wano ku STV Big Network. See ya.
Hey guys, you're watching STV Select for Fun.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the first show with me, Latifa Hamid, and I'm Chris Makanga. For those who were not a part of the show, thank you for joining us. And for those who were part of the show and had gone for a break, please come back and be with us as we guide you through the first show from what we're going to have right now, the topic of discussion, to Genesis, who will be coming up with the Forex Threats, and then we'll be having sports for the sports lovers before we say goodbye. Now, right now, we're looking at the youth elections that happened yesterday. Now, a number of things happened in the youth elections. A number of youth found their names missing in the vote register, and that means that very many youths failed to cast their votes or stand behind their candidate to choose those that they love. Also, among the things that happened was violence. Youths became violent. Some of them were fighting, and that's because their candidates lost, and they say that that was because they did find their names on the voter register. So I'm Chris Makanga. Let's look at the youth elections. What happened? And one, names were missing on the voter register, and two, there was violence. But however, before we go there, why don't we look at the footage, and then we'll be back with you trying to look at what happened.
Ku kifo ky'okuvuganya ku bwa ssentebe w'abavubuka okubadde Pius Regaba, Lawrence Kanyike, nga bano bombi bava mu kibiina kya National Unity Platform, saako ne Sengendo Ivan akiikiridde ekibiina kya NRM. Okulonda kuno kubadde kwa kutandikawo ku ssaawa 3 ez'okumakya, wabula nga tekunnabaawo ne wabalukawo akavuyo ng'omu ku beesimbyewo Pius Regaba nga yeemulugunya olw'omu ku baavuganya nabo okukozesa ndagamuntu etaliiye.
agezezaako okubeera ng'abuzabuza abantu kumulirisa tubeera kozesa amanya g'omuntu omulala n'ekifaananyi ekigezaako okumutwalira naye nga mulirisa takola ki taliimu obuzibu nti bakandidenti baffe abamu bagezaako bajja mu register nga bagamba tebalina ndagamuntu bagamba bayaayo which people power y'abantu bonna endagamuntu yakanyike Lawrence wano ate twamuwandikira wano nemulukalala mwali abeeremu.
Oluvannyuma abakungu okuva mu kakiiko k'ebyokulonda bamuyise ne bekenneenya ensonga eno ng'eno abawagizi be balaga obutali bumativu ku mbeera eno. Wabula oluvannyuma onakkiriziddwa okudda mu lwokaana luno wakati mu bukuumi. Naye ekisinze okwennyamiza kwe kunoonya abawagizi ba Lawrence mu nkalala z'abalonzi ng'abamu tebaliimu, ekireesewo akajagalano kuba nga bo babadde baagala balonde wadde nga tebali mu bitabo by'abalonzi olw'ensonga nti babadde n'endagamuntu.
obuzibu obubudde obuganyo omukafu okutambula amangu bano balowooza mbuno simanye olukalala ate bagala kuddamu ono omusajja waffe Kanyike Lawrence omulasita musiwamu jaludi amugabawota
Oluvannyuma lw'embeera okulemerera okudda mu nteeko, poliisi eragidde okulondebwa kuddizibwa ku kitebe kyayo abalonzi abamu kye bakkiriziganyizza nakyo olw'abandi ne bakiwakanya gye biggweredde ng'akalulu bakasazizzaamu.
bwebanga ejogawo emirembe esaidi zonna ensonga zikolaki zigwere waneeno okiwulira nebandi badde tebaloota babagala ku mugongo netwaga tumanye bonna ani asinga munne.
Edith Nabagereka, STV Select ey'enjawulo.
Nkyayalira abavubuka babukezeza nkokola okugenda ku bifo awalonderwa okulonda abakulembeze baabwe mu bitundu by'e Masaka. Twakeredde ku kyalo Mukudde mu ggombolola y'Ennyendo Ssenyange mu Masaka City. Okulonda kutandise ne bassentebe okubadde abeesimbyewo basatu okuli Dennis owa DP, Muguluma Wahab NRM ne Yawe Julius Nupo. Okulonda kugenze maaso era Nupo n'awangula ekifo kino ku bululu 34, DP 24 ne NRM 22.
afunye obululu 24 musanvu 22 yawe Julius
aba NRM tebamatidde na bivudde mu kulonda era ne bava mu mbeera ng'ekiwaliriza abaserikale abasatu abasindikiddwa mu kifo kino okutumya obuyambi. Poliisi ekakanya obujagalalo ng'ekulembeddwamu ASP Alubeya Abasi etuuse nezza embeera mu nteeko ng'egumbula ba NRM bakulembeddwamu omwami Kizza. Akuliddemu okulondesa kuno alabiddwako ng'akuba amasimu ag'okumukumu wabula oluvannyuma aganya akalu kano okuddibwamu. Aba NRM bawakanyizza ebivudde mu kulonda kuno. Aba DP beegase n'aba NRM ne baleeta omuntu omu ku buli kifo era abalonzi ku njuyi zombi eya NRM ne DP balabiddwako nga basimba mu lunyiriri lumu era aba Nupu ne bamegebwa mu bifo byonna ebisigaddewo.
Nga kyendabye wano kwe kubeera nga aba DP yamma wate beegase n'abeNRM kyewuunyiza.
Ate ku kyalo Kirumba B ekisangibwa mu ggombolola y'e Katwe Butego, banna People Power nga bali mu kibiina kyabwe kya National Unity Platform nga bakuliddwamu Ssemujju Noldin abadde yeesimbyewo ku bwa ssentebe w'abavubuka ku kyalo kino asangiddwa nga mukaawu nga n'engoye njuze. Agambye bazize akalulu n'alumiriza ab'amagye wamu n'ab'akakiiko k'ebyokulondesa abeekobaganye okubbira Byaluhanga Frobisher kalulu gw'abadde yeesimbyewo naye olw'okubanga mwana wa musirikale. Byaluhanga Frobisher ategeezezza nga aba NUP bwe bakoze effujjo n'okuzira akalulu oluvannyuma lw'okulaba nga bawanguddwa ku bululu 32-25 era n'alabula n'abo abeesomye okumukolako obulabe nga ye bw'alina obukuumi obw'amaanyi.
The issue is magezi ne basala ne bazira akalulu ate abasinga babuliddwa organization n'ekirala abavubuka abali wana basinga si balonzi
kane NRM ne bakola obufumbo bwabwe ekifo ekisoose ekya Tiamani tukiwangudde bulungi nnyo.
Okulonda kwo kugenze maaso mu bukuumi obw'amaanyi mu bifo byonna era nga ba NRM ebifo byonna babiwuuse buva anti nga tebavuganyiziddwa. Nze Maria Dana Namiro ne Nannozi Silvia ku STV Selector y'enjawulo.
Registration sorting out happened on November 21st to December 19th when we looked at a situation where they were trying to clarify the voters that are supposed to vote during the 2020-2021 youth elections that happened. Now, when we look at the youth elections that happened with Chris Makanga, we saw that it was marred by violence, it was marred by a poor voter turnout, and then the code of electing this youth was uncalled for. It was weird because now what happened is Chris, you're the candidate. You're going to stand face the other side and I'm going to line behind you. Now that is a very tricky situation. In Kiswahili we call it unafik, whereby if I, Latif Ahmed, wanted to cast a secret ballot and vote for Mansour instead of you, now it will be tricky for me to do that. Everybody has to see that I am standing behind you. It is honestly true, but it's a tricky situation for someone like me who wanted to cast a secret ballot.
I think English has it that every finish line is the beginning of a new race. Mu Luganda nyinza ogamba nti gakyali mabaga. And what happened during the youth elections that took place yesterday is a serious warning. It's a message that goes, 1, to the Electoral Commission, 2, police, 3, Ministry of Health, and the voters themselves. 4 people are involved. Kambadem, Electoral Commission, names were missing. Okay? code of voting. It shows that what we are planning for a bigger election.
I'm scared for the bigger election.
You look at what happened.
Exactly.
The chaos that happened yesterday.
No masks.
No masks.
Social distancing.
No social distancing.
What are we going to?
You can predict what is going to happen
in the bigger elections. I am voting for either NUP or NRM. What happens then when it's not lining its secret ballot, but we all have to come together in a place and cast our votes? It's a scary
Campaigns
situation.
are going to commence anytime soon.
Hybrid
They
campaigns.
say hybrid campaigns. And it's so tricky.
It is.
It goes back to the Electoral Commission and the Minister of Health. By no kuvayo neba planning akanwa kabaddewo eggulo just
Katini, because not a lot of people managed to vote.
Yes.
Not a lot of youths managed to vote. There was poor voter turnout for two reasons, Simon Chris. One was that these particular elections were not popularized as much as they ought
No
to
one
have been
was
popularized.
informed.
Exactly. Nominations were not showed on TV. We didn't see that happen. Before we know it, the elections are happening, and before we know it, the people have been elected. Now, look, in 2019, the voter register was trying to be sorted out, verified, to see which youths are going to vote and which youths are not going to vote. Now, during the verification process that took place from November 21st to December 19th, which was a very short time for verification, people asked the Electoral Commission to at least increase the time of the voter verification. However, they said they don't have the resources nor the time to do so. However, if we're looking at a youth election that is looked at by the government as something important, we ought to have done better as the Electoral Commission. We ought to have done better as the government itself.
Kino kyandibadde na kyakulabirako. Bandikoze kana akaluka abavubuka. Ngekyo otulaga ekifaananyi ku kiki kyetusuubira mu gundi mu kalwa akaddako ak'amaanyi. Kubaka na akalu kagenda kube, there's going to be a lot of chaos. And this calls for police, like I was saying, one of the four people I mentioned. Police erina okuvaayo ne training abasajja bayo kuba mu kalulu kano ak'eggulu mulimu omusirikale wa police omukyala yakubiddwa essasi. Accidentally yakubiddwa essasi. Some people walked out with injuries. So if akalu kavubuka kabadde bwekati ate akaddako kagenda kubeera katya. Kyekiseera Ministry y'obulamu eveeyo eno inge strategy mwe tugenda otambuliza campaign zino ez'amaanyi ze tuli mu kwetegekera. Police naye eveeyo training abasajja baayo on how to handle human beings, because we don't want to see human rights being violated to the highest. Twagala naffe abalonzi, because toyinza kuŋŋamba nti ogenda kulonda naye nga toyina masiki. Waliwo abadde banaabira engalo, but not everyone sanitize, or not everyone washed their hands. So naffe abalonzi twebeereremu, because the COVID-19 kati ali wano mu Central, ali mu Kampala. Bontulira death cases ezisinga kati ezimu kulinnya ziri wano mu Kampala. So naffe abalonzi tulina okola okwebeereramu.
We registered 66 new cases in just one day. It should tell us something as a country, as a district, as the local community, that we've reached a position where if we don't take care of ourselves, we are in for a very bad year. Now, when we look at the numbers of what happened during the electoral process, we're not going to look at all of it, but when we look at the Kampala Central, NRM took the seat in
most
Kampala
of the regions.
Yes, when we look at Nakawa division, we had independent, though an independent candidate who took it, and Rubaga division, it was NUP that took it. However, like you said, a number of positions were taken over by NRM people. And now NUP and the other opposition parties have come up to say that because of the low voter registration, because of the delayed or very quick process of voter verification, there was a problem. There is a problem. And that's why the others had a very low voter turnout. But again, we cannot say that.
It still goes back to the Electoral Commission, Latifa, and everyone watching the show. Byabadde eggulo amanya g'abantu okubula ku nkalala, abantu okulonda leeti, obuvuyo obwabaddewo biddayo eri Electoral Commission. Tutwagala nga twetegekera akalu kali ak'amaanyi akagenda okujja. Bino byonna twagala bibeerewo. Omuntu wabanga yeewandiisa leka erinnya lye kaseera kali eri wagenda okukubira akalulu erinnya lye libeere nga kweriri. Otherwise, this chaos or whatever happened yesterday should be a lesson to all the sectors: police, Electoral Commission, Minister of Health, naffe abalonzi. tutobe okulanga tugenda mu kalulu akalungi era kagenda okuvaamu nga kasanyu.
Now, Sergeant Chris Makanga, looking at what happened with the low voter turn-up, it actually gets me or makes me want to talk to the opposition politicians to tell them that you need every other party better mobilization. I mean, for people to turn up in those numbers only tells us that the mobilization was poor to start with.
There was something lacking.
There was something lacking. And in order for them to compete favorably, these are the things that you need to look at in order for us not to take people to court for cheating or rigging elections or going to electoral commission and saying, electoral commission, you were wrong in this and this opposition. Mobilize you people and see that they all turn up during the voting process.
Yes, that's true. And for now, the Fight Show is going to be taking another break, and we'll return with the what is it?
We'll be returning with the Forex Threats.
Forex, yes.
What is it? That was a nice one, Simon.
Bampita Dr. Franklin Mugisha wano ku STV biri ku makyakera nange nga twogera ku nsonga ez'enjawulo engeri okwezimba mu ggwanga lyaffe engeri okuzimba gye tubeera gye tuva wategedde obwavu lwa kibuluma mikwano gy'abaavu baani otambula otya osula otya okusalawo okwo okw'obulamu kutandikira ku nfunayo emikwano gy'abagaga n'abaavu tusobola ogitegeera no ku STV tugenda kwogera ku nsonga z'abaslay queen tutambula tutya kukyusa omulembe gw'abawala baffe kubanga bafuuka bavunaanyizibwa era nga bakozi nga banoonyi ba kikumi tugenda kwogera ku bakanyama bazimba batya emibiri y'omubiri bwe guli mu ssente oba bwe bulamu bwe twetaaga omukazi tasobola kuleka musajja w'emmotoka mukaaga mbwakute akwate 6 pack amufune mbubatambule naye wano ku STV Big Network. See ya.
Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing? My name is Him Kim, the entertainment guru, mastermind of fun, joy and happiness. You are watching STV Select for Fun. Era tubaniriza ku show.
Video comes out very well because that's our work.
Lero njagala obabuulire ku kintu ekyakuleese wano.
Twaza kushutinga video yaffe bagita obulamu nyuma kufa. Olina kulemerako nga SK Mbuga mwana. Nawe n'obeera influential mwana ku community. Okitegeera mwana.
Okugamba like it needs time to be akupatira shinyama no newe obudde you have to sit I won't say much about that wabula kimanyi engeri gye nkikolamu ne patana wange yampala train then nange ng'omuntu.
Don't miss the free pass every Saturday on STV as we get the exclusive access.
abalamuzi babagamba nti if the incumbent president frustrates all democratic means to leave power temusibayo muntu n'omu ku treason. This is why Besigye is released. Museveni ekibi kyalina talina mawulire nawandika n'ekitabo kyange the role of which could have been a malicious society sapule njijjamu
noyingire sabo
katonda wa bujja nze katonda w'obujja bw'oba olaga eri sapule twekitwala omusajja omubbi bamujja ewuwe ewaka kabanga lyezi ne bamujja ewuwe ewaka yabadde mu ttooyi naye tebamukiriza na tusanitize bamutadde butese mu piikaavu ba mu state house naye omukyayina bwe yawulidde nti ono bamukutte yeesize kiwi yayitiddeko yadduse ng'omuddugavu.
Welcome back to the first show. For those who want to know what the Forex threats are before you go and change your money, we have you covered. And for those who want to know what the sports updates are today, we have you covered as well. For now, let's right away jump into the Forex threats with the beautiful Genesis Namale.
Thank you so much, Latifa. It is the first show. Good morning, and I'm glad you joined in. It's me, Genesis, with the Forex Threats. Now, before I go here, the COVID-19 outbreak has been unprecedented. Most of the impact on the world economy has been reflected in the Forex threats. Some of the currencies like the Sudanese pound, the South African rand, and the Brazilian real, and so many others that I won't mention, are still losing towards the dollar. Now, let's take a look at the Forex threats in the country. The dollar is buying at 3,665 shillings and selling at 3,675 shillings. The pound is buying at 4,800 and selling at 4,813 shillings. The euro is buying at 4,340 shillings and buying at 4,351 shillings. The Kenyan shilling is at 33 shillings and still selling at 33 shillings. The Tanzanian shillings are still at 1.57 and selling at 1.57. The South African rand is at 210 shillings and still selling at 211 shillings. That is all for today. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow as I give you a brief insight into the Forex threats. Let me take you back to Chris and Latifa to tell you what is up next on the first show.
Well, thank you so much, Genesis, for that report. For now, let's go for a break, and we'll be back with a sports update.
This is why basically is released. Museveni ekibi kyalina talina mawulire. Nawandika n'ekitabo kyange the role of witchcraft in the Malaysia society. Sapule njijjamu.
Noyingire sabo.
Katonda wa bujja. Nze Katonda wa bujja. Bw'oba olaga eri sapule twegitwala. Omusajja omubbi bamujja ewuwe ewaka kabanga lyezi. Ne bamujja ewuwe ewaka yabadde mu ttooyi. Naye tebamukkiriza na tusanitize. Bamutadde butese mu piikavu mu State House. Naye omukyayina bwe yawulidde nti ono bamukutte yeesize kiwi yayitiddeko yadduse ng'omuddugavu.
Hey guys, you're watching STV Select for Fun.
Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing? My name is Kim, the entertainment guru, mastermind of fun, joy and happiness. You are watching STV Select for Fun.
To see that the video comes out well.
Hey guys, you're watching STV Select for Fun.
Again, and welcome back from that Forex rates with the Genesis. And now I know, for those of you that want to do trade or you want to exchange your money, you know what to do. That will be happening every single day. I'm talking about 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, where we shall be letting you know on how much the dollar is selling and buying and other foreign exchange rates. For now, let's dive into what's happening in the world of sports with Prince Juko.
njagala okwebaza n'okwaniza machaga lunaku olwalero mu kaseera kaffe kano program yaffe gye bayita fast show okuva ku lunaku olw'ebbala zotuuka ku lunaku olwokutaano era nga mu kaseera kano ke kanyumiro ak'ebyemizannyo mu lugero kwatuna ebyemizannyo tujja okuba nga tutandikira wano munda mu ggwanga amala agalo ge gategeeza nga olunaku olwajjo bwe kyamaze okukakasibwa nti ekibiina ekidukanya obuzannyo bw'omupiira mu Uganda ekya FOFA nga kikulembera okiyita mu pulezidenti waakyo engineer Moses Magogo okukakasa nti emitwalo $50 egyaweerezebwa okubanga zigabibwa nga wadde kandibadde kakadde essente zimu bategezezza emitwalo 5 gagenda kujja mwezi gwa January basooka kufunako emitwalo 5 naye nga zamaze okuba nga zigabanyizibwa mu bitundu ebyenjawulo oba ne members ab'enjawulo abagabanyiziddwamu essente ezo okuba nga zibakolera wabula ndowooza aba Uganda Super League bafunye obukadde 4,405 mu 26 zessente zabaweereddwa tujja zitematema otegereza ageze zitya nenga kyoba otegera bakakasiza era ebira byakakasiza ne teams eziri mu Super League ezo zamaze okuba nga zifuna essente olunaku olwajjo era nga olunaku olwaleero ssente zigenda kubeera ku akaunti zaabwe bagenda kuba nga bazifuna nga tuvuddeko kaawo tujja kubanga twongera okuba nga twogerako biki ebirala bigenda mu maaso tujja gendako wabula eggwanga nga tugendako mu club ya Arsenal the Gunners amala gava mu ttiimu ya Arsenal the Gunners gamaze okuba gategeeza nti no muvubuka waabwe Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang nga ye kapiteeni waabwe muvubuka ono mufirika era nga nzala Gabon amala gategeeza nti Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang amaze okukkaanya ne ttiimu ya Arsenal okubeera nga esasula emitwalo 25 ejja pound buli week jagenda okuba nga afuna Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang yava mu ttiimu eya Dortmund najjayogerako abattiimu ya Arsenal era mu season eya 2017 awo yasinga okuba nga ajja n'abegattako naye nga abatebedde egol olaba nti n'ekikopo ekya FA Cup okubanga bakitwala okuba ttiimu ya Chelsea y'omu ku baali ku lukalala olwateba goals ezayamba ttiimu ya Arsenal okuba nga egenda mu maaso Aubameyang yagambye musanyufu nnyo emyaka 3 yamaze okukkiriziganya n'okussa omukono ku ndagaano okubanga asamira ttiimu ya Arsenal era nga akyali wali ku Emirates wasamira omupiira n'okuba nti ebintu bitambula bulungi nnyo nga tuvuddeko kaawo twagala kubanga tugendako wabwere eggwanga era ku mpiira ebirala lunaku lwajjo wabadde omupiira semi-final eya Europa eyokubiri eyazanyiddwa era ng'omupiira guno gwagenza okukomekerezebwa nga ttiimu ya Inter Milan ekuba ekilabu ya Shakhtar Donetsk egooli zabadde 5-0 mu kitundu ekisooka munango omupiira tigwabadde mwangu nnyo gwabadde muzibuzibu wali mu kitundu ekyokubiri ttiimu ya Inter Milan omutendesi yaleese obukodyo obw'enjawulo okulaba nti wakiri awangula Antonio Conte agala kubanga akola record okuwangula ekikopo ekya Europa ate nga jjukira yafuna abamu ku abo basambi n'agenda nabo naye nga omuvubuka gwe bayita Lukaku yatebe goals 2 n'omuvubuka gwe bayita Martinez n'atebako goals zabadde 2 wabula yo ettiimu ya Inter Milan evudde endegeeza n'egamba nti beeteefuteefu kuzannya oluzannyo lw'akamalirizo ate nga baagala kutwala ekikopo kino kibayamba okubanga bali awo season ejja bwe batandikira obulungi wabula ekiriwo kyekyokuba nti abavubuka ababiri Ashley Young yaliko mu club ya Manchester n'omuvubuka gwe bayita Lukaku babadde beesunga nnyo okusigana ttiimu ya Man United oba oli awo babategeeze babakakase nti ekyabatwala eri omupiira baali bakyagulina so siga nti omupiira gwali guweddemu era nga final egenda kubeera kati wa club ya Sevilla bwana basamba club ya Inter Milan ennaku somezi 21 bagenda kubanga basamba finaali ey'ekikopo ekyo ekya Europa songa temu Champions League olunaku olwaliro semi-final esooka egenda kubanga ezannyibwa ttiimu ya RB Leipzig okuva mu ggwanga erya German agenda kusama club ya PSG okuva mu ggwanga erya Bufaransa ttiimu za Bufaransa ziriko 2 club ya Lyon ne club ya PSG zezo eza Bufaransa 2 eziriko songa ate eza German kuliko club ya Leipzig ne club eya Bayern Munich ate nga abatendesi basatu abagirimani abali mu semi-final kitegeeza nti kuyinza okujjako abatendesi abalala ababiri ne bagenda ku luzannyo lw'akamalirizo naye nga bwetyo Champions League egenda kubanga ezannyibwa olunaku olwaleero ate nga Europa yamaze okuba nti ekakasibwa olunaku olw'enkya era ttiimu ya Bayern Munich ajja kubanga asamba club ya Lyon tulabe ttiimu zimmeka 2 ezigenda ku luzannyo lw'akamalirizo mu mpaka eza Champions League Europa twamaze ozitegeera ye Sevilla ne Inter Milan wabula Champions League tuli ku semi-final tulina tulabe ani agenda okuba nti ayitawo ejja okubanga esambibwa agenda kusoma 23 wejja okubanga esambibwa final y'ekikopo ekya Champions League njagala kukomekereza wano olw'ensonga yakadde tubategeeza nti kusaaza zigenda kubeera 3 Tamale Mirundi agenda kubanga ajja ne Bashir Kaziwe abakutwale maaso n'okuwa biki ebigera maaso kitegeeza nti weeyungeko obeere ng'okyatulaba wano ku STV ne program ekyali Fast Show katugende mukumulamu tugenda nga tudda ne Chris asako ne Latifa bakutwale maaso paka banakutuusa wali eri Haji Bashir Kaziwe.
insulted the Chabazinga of Busoga and insulted the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, and one of them said that they should not vote for her in the 2021 elections in the Central Executive Committee of NRM. Let's look at her feedback and then we'll be back to discuss more.
Babuulidde nze mmanyi bye mbadde mpita mu paliamenti twagala abantu abeewaayo okulwanirira pate so si kulyamu pate yaffe lukwe nga bakolagana n'opposition ebyamu kya Rebecca Kadaga mubiraba ku TV byakola ne mu paliamenti kati yingizeewo Namuganza asobole okutuyambako okuyamba President Museveni ng'akolera pate yaffe yenze Ruth
omukyala Ruth Nankabirwa kambya kasasana ku social media mwayogera nagamba nze Ruth Nankabirwa mbabuulira am quoting her babuulira tulonde omuntu omuwulize eri president waffe tulonde omuntu omuwulize eri ekibiina kyaffe mulonde Pasis Namuganza Rebecca Kadaga mumulaba byakola akolera abo opposition ndowooza twandule ensonga eyo nga bweri
kakati tewali kibiina kitali mu bizibu naye waliwo abantu abeefuula nti bebannanyini kibiina therefore balina okusalawo ani aliwa so nze ndi sinemembo ekibiina tutambudde n'ekibiina okuva mu NRC era ebyo byolaba that's part of the mafia tubalina mu kibiina
but ekibiina ekiri mu buyinza waliwo tulowooza nti kibeeramu abantu bwe bati
manyi society abantu abeera mu kulembeza mu society gye tuvaamu society oba erimu ebintu ng'ebyo era they find their way into place of responsibility.
Bamafia babeera connected baba ne sente baba ne resources baba na byonna bingi they have the power of the media to influence opinion to influence debate and decisions that means you are opposite to the mafia toli kusaidia how are you going to sail through
of corruption. She says that they are against her because she's fighting the corrupt people in NRM. And on the matter of age, she said they start with Haji Chigongo and the president to tell them to step down before she comes in. On the matter of campaigning on the affirmative action, Kadaga says that women are still important. So if she decides to still contest on affirmative action, an action that she was one of the people who decided to push forward, she will still do that. 2015, she promised to step down and leave the place for someone else. And 2016, she promised to step down and leave the speaker position to someone else. A very controversial issue indeed. Simon Chris.
I like what she said, that there are mafias within the NRM. And I'm forced to believe that she was talking about Honorable Pasis Namuganza and that she was regarding to that voice that came from the government chief whip, Honorable Ruth Nankabirwa. Truth be told, it shows that there are quite a number of wrangles within the party itself. We've been discussing different wrangles in different political parties. Now, if we see that there is that kind of disorganization, I think it needs to be settled down as early as possible. And I know there is always democracy within the NRM party, so it will be sorted.
Well, I'm waiting for Daddy Museveni to make his pick. He has always done that. And we're waiting to see who is his favorite child. It's not easy not to pick your favorite child at the end of the day. So we're waiting to see what
However, I wouldn't want to buy the idea of Honorable Ruth Nankabirwa coming up to campaign or de-campaign someone basing on allegations, because you cannot say that the Honorable Speaker has been favoring or she has been partisan for the what? For the opposition, because when you listen to the voice to the voice note, that's what it says. However, like we've been discussing before, the speaker is supposed to be objective rather than being subjective. And she has done that for the time she has been presiding over the August House. And truth be told, she's liked by both sides.
Yes.
When you listen to what she does for the NRM, when you listen to what she does for the opposition, and during the same interview, I like when she said that if it wasn't for her, maybe President Museveni would be packing. So she has done a lot. How comes Honorable Ruth Nankabirwa is not talking about that? Why is she talking about the other negative side and not talk about the Article 102B that was changed courtesy of whatever happened in the August House?
Well, 1 boxing ring and 3 women holding gloves. We're waiting to see how this fight ends. For now, we are looking forward to getting out of the studios because the Sharp Talk is going to start with Tamale Mirundi and Bashir Kazibwe, one of those shows that I look forward to. For now, I'd like to say goodbye, not forgetting JB Fashions at Grand Corner, who dressed me up today and dresses me up every other day that I come into the studios. You want to get in touch with him, call him on 0758 597 322. One more time, that's 0758 597 322 to look as good as
Before you say bye-bye, the Minister for Kampala, Honorable Betty Amondu, will be addressing the media today at the Uganda Media Center, and she's going to be speaking about the rampant increase of COVID-19 cases in Kampala and also the death cases that are rising within the central region. So what do you expect?
Well, the thing is, I expect her to talk about the planned closing of transportation, public transportation in Uganda, because that's one of the moves that the government wants to take in order to reduce the increase of COVID-19. We've already seen 2 arcades being closed and 3 factories being closed. So if you're not careful, we'll go back to another lockdown and elections will be our only way out of the house. And I don't want to see that happening. But for now, again, I'll say goodbye. I'd like to thank you all as I'm leaving it for Chris. Thank you all for watching. Don behind the camera, Mansour behind the camera, Husna Afet, Jeff, not forgetting Adams Mayambala, and the whole team that made this program happen. I'd like to thank you. And for those who have been with us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and your TV, on your phone, your app, thank you very much for being part of this program. I'm Latifa Hamid.
Myself, Simon Chris Makanga, and I'd like to thank each and everyone that has been part of this show. We want to thank you really so much. And for those that have been streaming live on Facebook, you are the best audience ever. Now, Chazize Waka, and now Arcades. Thank you so very much. And may the good Lord of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob be with you, not until we meet once again tomorrow, which is going to be a Wednesday, for yet another edition of the First Show. Coming up is the Sharp Talk with the Omukukunavu Tamale Mirundi ne Haji Kaziwe Bashir. For now, we are not around.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
Bampita Dr. Franklin Mondo Mugisha wano ku STV biri ku makyakera nange nga twogera ku nsonga ez'enjawulo engeri tusobola okwezimba mu ggwanga lyaffe, engeri tusobola okuzimba gye tubeera gye tuva, wategedde obwavu lwa kibuluma, mikwano gy'abaavu baani, otambula otya, osula otya. Okusalawo okwo okw'obulamu kutandikira ku nfunayo. Emikwano gy'abagagga n'abaavu tusobola ogitegeera wano ku STV. Tugenda kwogera ku nsonga z'aba Queen. Tutambula tutya kukyusa omulembe gw'abawala baffe kubanga bafuuka babuvunaanyizibwa era nga bakozi nga banoonyi ba kikumi. Tugenda kwogera ku bakanyama bazimba batya emibiri, ye omubiri bwe gulimu ssente oba bwe bulamu bwe twetaaga. Omukazi tasobola kuleka musajja w'emmotoka mukaaga mbwakute akwate 6 pack amufune mbubatambule naye wano ku STV. Big network. See ya.
Abalamuzi babagamba nti if the incumbent president frustrates all democratic means to leave power, temusibayo muntu n'omu kutwiza. This is why Besigye is released. Museveni ekibi kyalina talina mawulire. Nawandika n'ekitabo kyange the role of witchcraft in the malicious society sapule njijjamu
noyingira sabo
katonda wa bujja nze katonda w'obujja bw'oba olaga eri sapule twegitwala omusajja omubbi bamujja ewuwe ewaka kabanga lyezi ne bamujja ewuwe ewaka yabadde mu ttooyi naye tebamukkiriza na tusanatayizi bamutadde buteesi mu piikaavu mu State House naye omukyayina bwe yawulidde nti ono bamukutte yeesize kiwi yayitiddeko yadduse ng'omuddugavu.
Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing? My name is Him Kim, the entertainment guru, mastermind of fun, joy and happiness. You are watching STV Select for Fun. Era tubaniriza ku show.
Video comes out very well because that's our work.
Lero njagala obabuulire ku kintu ekyakuleese wano.
Twaza kushutinga video yaffe bagita obulamu nyuma kufa. Olina kulemerako nga SK Mbuga mwana. Nawe n'obeera influential mwana ku community. Okitegera mwana.
Okugamba like it needs time kubyakupatira shinyuma newe wobudde you have to sit. I won't say much about that. Wabula kimanyi engeri gyekikulamu nepatana wange yampala train then nange ng'omuntu.
Don't miss the free pass every Saturday on STV as we get the exclusive access.
Kwa nini nkimpigia kusudi zake na kipokea eti wewe nani na namba kakupa nani?
Kusema za ukweli nimepata pigo, moyo umetoboka inauma figo, kichwa changu mwenyewe naona mzigo. Wanaona washa maji weka moto, tandika jamvi na ja nyumbani, nimekuletea zawadi